Good morning, dear students. Today my topic is History Lesson 5, Rulers and Buildings. As earlier you have done in Lesson 3 that Delhi was the capital under Delhi Sultans and Qutbuddin Aibak was the first Muslim ruler there. He constructed many buildings, so Qutub Minar was the main building which was constructed by him. The first floor of Qutub Minar was constructed by Qutbuddin Aibak and raised by Iltutmish around 1229. Over the years, it was damaged by lightning and earthquakes, repaired by Alauddin Khalji, Muhammad Tughlaq, Firoz Shah Tughlaq, and Ibrahim Lodi. So this is the picture of Qutub Minar. The Qutub Minar, a tower in Delhi, India, is at 72.5 meters high, the world's tallest brick minaret. Construction commenced in 1193 under the orders of India's first Muslim ruler Qutbuddin Aibak, and the topmost story of the minaret was completed in 1386 by Firoz Shah Tughlaq. The Qutub Minar is notable for being one of the earliest and most prominent example of Indo-Islamic architecture. The pattern is created under the balcony by the small arcs and geometrical designs. The surface of minar is curved and angular. Only the most skilled persons could inscribe in Arabic. Placing an inscription on such a surface required great precision. Only the most skilled craftsperson could perform this task. Remember that very few buildings were made of stone or brick 800 years ago. Engineering skills and construction. Superstructure. Superstructure is the part of the building above the ground floor. Roofs, doors and windows were made by placing a horizontal beam across two vertical columns, a style of architecture called trebete or corbelled. Between 8th and 13th century, the trebete style was used to construct temples and mosques along with stepped wells called bolis. Kendriya Mahadeva Temple. Kendriya Mahadeva Temple, it was dedicated to Shiva and was constructed in 999 by the king Dhangadeva of the Chandela dynasty. An ornamented gateway led to an entrance and the main hall, Mahamandapa, where dances were performed. The image of the chief deity was kept in the main shrine, that was Garbhagriha. This was the place for ritual worship where only the king, his immediate family and priests gathered. The Khajuraho complex contained royal temples where commoners were not allowed entry. The temples were decorated with elaborately carved sculptures. Raja Rajeshwara Temple. Raja Rajeshwara Temple at Thanjavur had the tallest shikhar amongst temples of its time. Constructing it was not easy because there were no cranes in those days and 90-ton stone for the top of the shikhar was too heavy to lift manually. So the architects built an inclined path to the top of the temple, placed the boulder on roller and rolled it all the way to the top. The path started more than 4 kilometers away so that it would not be too steep. This was dismantled after the temple was constructed, but the residents of the area remembered the experience of the construction of the temple for a long time. The Jama Masjid. The Jama Masjid in Delhi was built by Emperor Shah Jahan. It is the largest and the best known mosque in India. It was constructed in 1650 to 1656. Golden Temple, Amritsar. The Golden Temple, known as the Darbar Sahib or the Harmandir, is the most celebrated Sikh shrine situated in Amritsar. The foundation stone was laid by Hazrat Mian Mir of Lahore, a friend and admirer of Guru Arjan in 1588 AD. The major dates known for construction and reconstruction are as follows. The first construction took place sometimes between 1588 and 1604 AD. Subsequent reconstruction took place between 764 and 776 AD following attacks by Ahmad Shah Abdali. Renovation and perhaps a major change in the design and fabric was done by Maharaja Ranjit Singh starting from 1802 and continued through 1839 AD. Garden, tombs and forts. Under the Mughals, architecture became more complex. Babur, Humayun, Akbar, Jahangir and especially Shah Jahan were personally interested in literature, art and architecture. In his autobiography, Babur described his interest in planning and laying out formal gardens placed within rectangular walled enclosures and divided into 4 quarters by artificial channels. These gardens were called Chahar Bagh or 4 gardens because of their symmetrical divisions into quarters. Beginning with Akbar, some of the most beautiful Chahar Baghs were constructed by Jahangir and Shah Jahan in Kashmir, Agra and Delhi. Humayun Tomb. It was constructed between 1562 to 1571. It has a central towering dome and a tall gateway. The tomb was placed in the center of a huge formal Chahar Bagh. It has a central hall surrounded by 8 rooms known as 8 Paradise. It was during Shah Jahan's reign that different elements of Mughal architecture were fused together in a grand harmonious synthesis. His reign witnessed a huge amount of construction activity, especially in Agra and Delhi. The ceremonial halls of public and private audience, that is Diwan-e-Khas-o-Aam, were carefully planned. Placed within a large courtyard, these courts were also described as Chihal Sutun or 40-pillared hall. Shah Jahan's audience halls were specially constructed to resemble a mosque. The pedestal on which his throne was placed was frequently described as the Qibla, the direction faced by Muslims at prayer, since everybody faced that direction when court was in session. The idea of the king as a representative of God on earth was suggested by these architectural features. The connection between royal justice and the imperial court was emphasized by Shah Jahan in his newly constructed court in the Red Fort at Delhi. Behind the emperor's throne were a series of Pitra Dura inlays that depicted the legendary Greek god Orpheus playing the lute. It was believed that Orpheus' music could calm ferocious beasts until they coexisted together peaceably. The construction of Shah Jahan's audience hall aimed to communicate that king's justice would treat the high and the low as equals, creating a world where all could live together in harmony. Pitra Dura means colored hard stones placed in depressions carved into marble or sandstones, creating beautiful ornate patterns. Shah Jahan adapted the riverfront garden in the layout of Taj Mahal, the grandest architectural accomplishment of his reign. Here, the white marble mausoleum was placed on the terrace by the edge of the river, and the garden was to its south. Shah Jahan developed his architectural form as means to control the access that nobles had to the river. In the city of Shah Jahanabad that he constructed in Delhi, the imperial palace commanded the riverfront. Only specially favored nobles, like his eldest son Dara Shikoh, were given access to the river. All others had to construct their homes in the city away from the river Yamuna. Here, this is a picture of Taj Mahal, located in Agra, built in 17th century. It was built by Shah Jahan in the memory of his third wife, Mumtaz Mahal, Region and Empire. This is the picture of Govind Deva Temple in Vrindavan. In 1590, the temple was constructed out of red sandstone. Its architecture was very much similar to the Mughal palaces in Fatehpur Sikri. Bangla Dome. In Bengal, the local rulers had developed a roof that was designed to resemble a thatched hut. The Mughals liked this Bangla Dome so much that they used it in their architecture. The impact of other regions was also evident. In Akbar's capital at Fatehpur Sikri, many of the buildings show the influence of the architectural styles of Gujarat and Malwa. Elsewhere, churches that touch the skies. From the 12th century onwards, attempts began in France to build churches that were taller and lighter than earlier buildings. This architectural style, known as Gothic, was distinguished by high pointed arcs, the use of stained glass, often painted with scenes drawn from Bible, and flying buttresses. Tall spires and bell towers, which were visible from a distance, were added to the church. One of the best known examples of this architectural style is the Church of Notre Dame in Paris, which was constructed through several decades in the 12th and 13th centuries. Thank you.